And we are live. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. It is Freitag, April 30th. Isn't tomorrow, but is tomorrow May already, Robert?
It certainly is, Steve.
Yeah, welcome to Massive Iron Live, guys. We'll be here for as long as you guys can stand us. And post up your questions, diet, training, supplementation, nutrition, off topic, whatever you want, movies, talk, discussion about Robert taking his shirt off, whatever. We are all good to go. Before we get into things, see your questions. Sometimes YouTube is funny about longer questions. Chop it down a little bit and try it again. If we miss them, you can hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, or Robert on Instagram at The Supplement Engineer. And what else am I forgetting? Robert, last week we posted a video of Hello by Lionel Richie, and YouTube caught it and demonetized our live video, which is no heartbreak because it's only like I don't do these for the couple pennies YouTube pays me. Yeah. But it's funny, YouTube can't catch all the porn spam that goes in comments. I have to do that manually. But if I play 2 seconds of Hello by Lionel Richie, it takes away all the cash. So you said you had that happen to you guys on a video?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about our favorite 80 movies or training montages or something like that. And we played the trailer from Rocky 3. And I got immediately, as soon as we ended the live, I got a notification in my email from YouTube saying, because you played this during your live stream, your video has been demonetized. Now, I just started monetizing my channel, so it really had no effect on me. But it's amazing how quickly they can catch certain things like that.
Well, if you want to hear something really funny, then we'll dive into questions. And guys, let us know how you're doing, how things are going with the lockdowns, your COVID shots, everything. My music is, for those that don't know of me, I'm a shitty independent artist. I've recorded like 7 albums, used to play like 30 to 50 shows a year. Music is set up through DistroKid, through Distribution, which is a website that distributes it for me as an independent artist to Amazon and to iTunes and all that kind of shit. Facebook flags my music as infringing on the copyright of an artist when I post my own song. Literally. And like I have to reply and say, that's my song. And then they send me some generic thing back like, it seems like you're responding to a copyright. I'm like, yes, I am. It's my music, you fuck asses.
Dipshits.
So anyway, let's dive into. Before I do, I finally got.
Hey,
I got mine.
Sexy looking tub.
Yeah. We're running low. We're only probably like a third of the number of units left. If you guys want them, you're going to have to get them this week. I appreciate everybody who supported us. Everybody's been posting pictures. And if you want one, head over to superlivingtoday.com, which is right above my head. I did the label, which is why it's so sexy. And real quick, Robert, what's the deal with Massive Creatine Plus and why should people consider it over their regular creatine?
Because I formulated it?
That's right. And that's all you need to know.
No, I'm not that arrogant. I
am. Like I said, whatever Robert formulates, I'm using.
So creatine monohydrate is great. It is the king of sports nutrition supplements, bar none. I mean, caffeine might have a stone's throw shot at dethroning creatine, but creatine is the shit. Okay, so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're not trying to say we have made the next creatine. We've taken creatine and surrounded it with a bunch of other cool ingredients that kind of support ATP production from a bunch of different pathways. So you got creatine, which is directly enhancing cellular hydration, and creatine phosphate stores in skeletal muscle tissue, which is going to help your body rapidly regenerate ATP within that first 5 to 10 seconds of intense exercise. Then we've got D-ribose, which is a carbohydrate that acts as a building block for the construction of ATP within the body. We've got Elevate-ATP, which is a combination of ancient peat and apple extracts, which has been shown to increase whole blood levels of ATP and increase the cell's ability to produce ATP on its own. And we've also got Synactive, which increases citrate synthase activity, which is an enzyme involved in the production of ATP. So we've taken the foundation that is 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, the king of creatines. There's nothing better than it. You don't need to mess with creatine hydrochloride, magnesium, creatine, chelate, or any of those other, fancy, overly priced, crappy creatines. Creatine monohydrate, the king of creatines, and we've got 3 other ingredients that are supporting ATP production and recovery in between sets and recovery after your workouts, all our ATP regeneration, replenishment after, to surround it and enhance the entire process. And as a bonus feature, there's some pretty cool research checking out around D-ribose in regards to cardiovascular health and blood sugar control too. So there's some added benefits there.
So just a bonus and to any of the knuckleheads out there who want to be like, oh my God, you got in the supplement industry and you're just trying to make a ton of cash.
Yeah. Let me show you the paycheck I made from the sales of massive creatine.
Yeah, we made nothing. What we're doing is it cost me like $4,500 just to get this rolling. And, we're each jar, each tub, basically this is going to pay for to fund the pre-workout. So we're not making any money at all. This is just a passion project. Eventually if we get up to like 10 supplements, and this is just like a fun time for us, see what we can do out of the box different than, the rest of the supplement industry. If it fails, it fails. If you guys don't want it, then it's going to fail. But what we thought we would do is, because we have the opportunity, we're going to put together the best products we can, think outside of the box a little bit, let Robert do some formulation. And we're just a little train that could. We're going to put out the best stuff. And if you guys truly want the best stuff, the line will grow and we'll have fun doing it together. And we're not going to do any of the bullshit that, any of the bad bullshit that's done in the supplement industry.
Yeah, you're not going to see us selling glutamine supplements, micro-encapsulated glutamine, CLA, any of that shit.
I still see glutamine.
That's what? Say that again, Steve?
I still see people trying to peddle glutamine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, then another brand recently came out with micro-encapsulated glutamine, which is supposed to make it significantly more bioavailable.
That's like saying you're going to take something like 0 times infinity is still 0 for you math people that get it. Like if something's a piece of shit and you amplify its effectiveness, it's still a piece of shit, right? You can't. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yesterday on the live Q&A that Sandy had, we're getting a bunch of requests for pre-workout, and the answer I keep saying is, hey, sell out through this massive creatine, then we'll have money to fund we'll start up a pre-order for the pre-workout and we can get it rolling. Because we've got the formula done and it's quoted. We just, yeah.
Well, if you feel comfortable, we can get rolling on that, and we can do a pre-sale. And, the only way we can fund a pre-workout is to pre-sale probably 50 units. And then if we pre-sell them, then that'll cover the cost to actually get everything else sold. So we can get rolling on that this weekend if you want, Robert. All right, let's roll here. Stein, what's going on? Stein, thanks for tuning in. Oliver Bowes, hey, from GB, how's it going? Hope you're okay. Gyms are back open. That's a new name, so we appreciate you tuning in. Pork Meat, what's going on? Pork Meat. Frank Fitness, hey, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. You too. It's actually Frank Fitness, but, I like calling him Frank because it sounds more like Arnold. And he's
Hans and Franz.
Yeah. And my dog is snoring at full capacity already. Wake up there, puppy. Oh, my God, we're starting right away, and I'm going to have to kick her out of the office. Hey, everyone, hope you're doing well. How's it going, Dungeons and Dumbbells? And John, I've never cared about natty or knots, but do y'all think Chris Jones is natty? I've stood next to Chris Jones at the first Real Weights for Real Heroes, or the only Real Weights for Real Heroes. Met him, came to Tiger Fitness, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of like a slightly bigger Athlean X, right? People ask me, like, Athlean X, what do you think of his size? Athlean X probably has about 16-inch arms. Athlean X could be bigger if he wanted to be bigger. Chris Jones is like the next size up. You supersize Athlean X. And, if Chris is taking, I'm not going to speculate, but if any of these guys are taking 100, 200 milligrams a test, I couldn't tell. Chris doesn't doesn't have any signs. He just looks like a lean, normal, natural guy that's been lifting his whole life. So, Bree, what's going on, Bree? And Bree is from Mongolia, Robert, and in Mongolia you can't drive to get groceries; you have to walk to get groceries.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Absurd.
yeah, and not only that, but now it's snowing. So great for the immune system, and you get to interact with other people along your way to get groceries. Andreas, hello from Austria. How's it going? Hello from India. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate it. I was stuck at 3x6 for shoulder dumbbell press for 70s, each hand for a month, but kept going. That's good work. And, what you guys got to remember is don't think of that as being stuck, okay? At that level, 70-pound dumbbells that's intermediate strength. And if you could add one dumbbell every 6 months, after 3 years, you're going to be tossing 100s, and that's it. Super impressive. So the fact that you did that in only a month is well done. Josh, I asked because he seems big at such a low body fat. Here's the thing. His name aside, the body fat percentage, people have to get a lot leaner than they think. So, Robert, when I was 240 pounds, I was extremely vascular, and people were like, he's got to be taking all this stuff because he's 240 pounds and super vascular. Between loose skin from losing 100 pounds and the fact that my body fat percentage was only 20%, I had a lot more to go to get down to super lean. He doesn't have super low body fat percentage. He might have 12% or whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw him in person. I don't think he's 200 pounds. But I honestly, Josh, I'm not being an asshole here, but I don't like to get in these discussions. Well, what's the point, really? I mean, I've seen Chris. He's smaller than me. He doesn't look 200 pounds. He's not 5'6". I mean, he's taller than that. Yeah, he didn't look like a midget to me. I don't know where all these numbers come from, but I remember him being like 5'8", 5'9". So anyway, I don't like to get into this stuff. It's like trying to guess the dick size of some man that walks by you on the sidewalk. It really is. And I'm sorry, but hey, what do you think his cock size is? I don't fucking know. Excuse my honesty here, but I don't know and I don't care. Okay. John, hey, how's it going, John? Harut, hey, gang. And again, Josh, I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but, like trying to guess if somebody's on TRT, 100 milligrams a week is impossible because, number one, it's going to do very, very little. It might add a couple pounds, and there's just no way to tell. GeoPower 50. Hey, guys, can you touch on bench press strength, and do you like speed days? No, I don't like speed days at all because what happens in this industry is people will think they plateaued on bench. They have shitty diets. They have inconsistent training. And they try to do all this bullshit to replace consistent training and hard work and patience. And it's not that speed days are inherently bad, but people will try to plug in all this stuff to amplify their bench strength when really their foundation isn't in place. They say their foundations are in place, but when I look at the consistency of their diet, when I look at the consistency of their effort, when I look at the consistency of their training, it is lacking. So, Gio, I'm not saying yours is, but what I'm saying is you really need to have somebody comb through your stuff and be honest with you and say, this is lacking, this is lacking, this is lacking. Before you start adding in all these things to your lifting, you better make sure your fundamentals are squared away. Any thoughts, Robert?
No, I was going to say most lifters probably don't even need to worry about a speed bench day unless they're an actual competitive power lifter. Like the average dude that's just looking to get jacked doesn't need to mess with a speed day.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, if somebody wants to increase their bench strength and they're not a super advanced lifter, I think there's better things to do, better ways to spend your time in the gym. Tyler, hey guys, probiotic brand recommendations. Robert?
None really. I'd be more of a fan of getting. I mean, first off, do you actually need a probiotic supplement? A lot of the ones on the market, the cultures are either not going to populate in your GI system, or they're already dead there, and so they're just going to pass right through your body. I'm much more of a fan of getting probiotics from the diet. So fermented foods, kimchi, kefir. You can do sauerkraut. You can do pickles. You can do yogurt, a good full-fat Greek yogurt or something like that, or a skyr. I think that's how you guys pronounce it, that Icelandic yogurt, skyr, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Do those things. I'm not real nuts. And if you go check out the Supplement Engineer podcast I did with Dr. Gabriela Fundero, she is a gut health expert, and she basically said it's more of like an individual kind of thing. Like, hey, you can check out maybe this one or this one, but a lot of these probiotics, these studies are done in people that have IBS, IBD, or some other kind of maybe dysbiosis or SIBO. So it's not just like, hey, a blanket recommendation, everybody should be taking probiotics. That's not the case.
Thanks, Robert. I actually started following her on Instagram after you did your video with her.
Yeah, at Vitamin PhD is her Instagram handle. Super nice lady, super smart. Yeah.
So how's it going, Faz? Faz and I started doing last week. We started doing a video together. This morning before our live video, Robert, Faz and I did I think a 26-minute video on bulking.
So you're cheating on me now? Is that it?
I wouldn't call it cheating. We're trying to get you involved in a threesome and
a dalliance.
Yes, it's maybe a little occasional excursion.
Keeping fresh.
Yeah, check that out tomorrow. I'm probably going to – I don't know if I'm going to release it tomorrow or Sunday, because whenever I release a video on Saturday, it tends to, flop a little bit. It tends to do better on Sunday. So Faz is a super smart guy and somebody I respect, very humble. And you can –
I had a blast with our Menage a Trois that we did live. We did a couple weeks ago. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so look for those videos and follow him on Instagram and YouTube, Faz Lifts.
I have a question for the British contingent that listens to us each week. So do you guys prefer Great Britain, England, or the UK? What do you prefer if somebody's referring to your homeland? Let us know in the comments. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like if you ask Americans, you prefer the United States of America, the States, America, or those weirdos. I don't think we'll.
I'm Texas. We supersede the U.S. It's Texas. That's all it is.
Just because they're a large state, they think. Look, it's not the size of the state; it's how you use it, Robert. And
California shit the bed on that one.
Yes, California is a prime example of that. It's not the size of the state; it's how you use it. And wow, we could talk for hours about how the Hollywood people, the woke Hollywood people. Did you see the ratings on the Academy Awards?
I did.
They were like a train wreck. People are so over it.
Yeah, if people want to hear a good film critic or movie review site, everybody go look up The Critical Drinker. He's from Ireland. I love his videos. He's super smart, very well spoken. His analysis on stuff is pretty on point, but he's got some good humor in there too. So everybody go check out The Critical Drinker.
And off topic, I'd like to hear what you guys have to think regarding this, but like baseball ratings are down, football ratings are down, Academy Award ratings are down. And like, I don't like to get in the political side of things, but I find it curious that everyone's like, it's because of this, it's because of that. What I really think is happening is that we're in a post-TV generation where there's so many media sources. People would rather flip on Instagram and then peek over at a football score, like the 10 to 20%, right?
Yeah.
I'll peek at who won the Academy Awards, but I won't watch it because I don't want to invest that time. I'd rather watch a Netflix show. I really think that's what's going on. I don't think necessarily people have lower interests in some of these things. I just think they're naturally evolving. And in addition, here's a hot topic. People talk about attendance at sports games, Robert, and why they're down. But I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're in an obesity epidemic and the size of butts are getting bigger. And if you've ever tried to put a big butt into a baseball or football seat, I mean, it's not the funnest thing in the world. When I was 346, I took my daughter to a Brewers game, and it's like the seat is this wide, my butt's like 3 times as big, so I think there's certainly something to that. I don't know what percentage of that there actually is, but if you have a big butt, it's not fun sitting like, oh.
Yeah, well, that professional sports and major college universities like LSU, the tickets for these things are outrageous. I mean, it plus the game day atmosphere, and this is from somebody that was in LSU's marching band for 5 years, went to all the NCAA tournament games as part of that. So that game day experience is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I love college because of that. As a regular fan, it's so not worth it. You have to wait in line for tickets. You got to wait in line for overpriced tickets. You got to go pay for overpriced concessions. Getting in and out of the stadiums is a motherfucker. The cost, the wait time, everything. It's all just a giant pain in the ass. It's so much better to sit at home and just watch it from the comfort of your house, not spending $38 on like a 20-ounce Coke or something.
Yeah, I was trying to find a ticket price for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Going to like a Badger game or an LSU game, you go once in your life, and it's a phenomenal experience just
Agreed.
to experience it live. But there is a lot of pain in the butt. But like somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. We were looking at going to a Columbus Blue Jackets hockey game just to get out, and when you go to a hockey game or as an adult, you don't really. Who wants to spend $70 to sit 7 miles away? I'm going to spend good money to get good tickets because I'm going to go once every 3 years, and I want to be able to enjoy it, right? But I think like the ticket prices are $250 or $270 a person. Like compared to a baseball game, it's like what? I mean, unbelievable. So we did a hard pass on that.
Yeah, the lower level, I'm pulling them up right now, Steve. 250, 280. If you go up to like the mezzanine section, those are 196. If you go up to the very top, the top level, those are $80.
Yeah, $80 for starters, and if you guys are like baseball sucks because of politics, I respect that, but we want to go to a Reds game just because they're close, and we wanted to get out. And I got my ballpark app. We got 2 tickets and 2 good tickets. Let me see if it actually shows a price. Against the Brewers, section 118, which is really, really right up there. And I don't think we paid more than $80 a seat. So you can go to a hockey game and pay like $80 for the worst seats, or go to a baseball game and pay a little bit more for the best seats. I don't get it. Certainly. BKS Gaming. Hey, how's it going? Sorry to derail you guys. Thoughts on sugar? Is it as bad as people say? I'm going to let Robert jump in here, but look, we're in the middle of an obesity epidemic, and it's the over-occurring reliance on crap foods that is really the issue. If you look at the average calorie intake of a McDonald's meal, between the fries, a burger, and a drink or a shake or a McLatte or whatever you're doing, the calories are ridiculous. The Baja Blast at McDonald's is like, or not McDonald's, Taco Bell's like 440 calories, 110 grams of sugar. So is sugar bad? Nothing is bad in small quantities, but the problem is the average individual. I was looking at MyFitnessPal this morning, Robert, just to see what people are eating that follow me, because I never look. And I see like 180 calories from fake creamer, one of these fake protein bars, these kind bars that kind of look healthy but are all sugar.
Yep.
And then for lunch, fast food, and for dinner, fast food. And that's the issue. You got processed sugar, processed flour, fast food, no control over your calories. And for someone like me, Robert, who spent his, some of my adult life abusing food. Obviously, I got up to 346 pounds. I feel much better when I don't eat any sugar or flour. I simply do. So, with that, all this said, Robert, is sugar bad?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. No single food in and of itself. Maybe you could make the argument for like the partially hydrogenated oils, the trans fats. Those are maybe like the one single food that is just period, end of story. That is bad. Sugar in and of itself, no, it's not bad. I mean, our bodies run on sugar. That's the primary fuel source for the body is glucose. It is, like Steve said, the abuse of it. So if you're somebody that eats a really healthy diet and your only source of you're adding like a tablespoon of sugar to your morning coffee, no, that's not going to do anything. That's 15 calories, 40. So let's say you even use like a heaping bunch of that, 60 calories at most from sugar. That's not going to kill you. It's not going to have any adverse effects on metabolic health or body composition. But if you're somebody that over relies on processed foods and you've got a bunch of hidden sugars in that, artificial refined sugars that are added, not artificial sugars, artificial like fake processed foods, and they're filled with refined, really cheap sugars and stuff like that, that's where it becomes the issue. It's the excess consumption of these hyperpalatable foods. That's where the danger of sugars and fats is. And nobody's getting fat off just pure sugar. They're eating all these processed foods, which have probably just as much, if not more, calories from fat than they do sugar. So it's the combination of the fat, sugar, salt that's really the key driver of this obesity epidemic. That, and coupled with a lack of physical activity, that's where the bad is. It's not just sugar in and of itself.
If you wake up every day and like you're craving these things like McDonald's pizza, energy drinks with sugar and stuff, you got a problem. I mean, you really do. And I'm not trying to be overly critical and make you feel like a fool, but for a normal balanced living is having pizza once a month. Normal balanced living, once a month after a run, I go get 3 McDoubles. Once a month, I have rules in place so I do not abuse my body. Once a month we'll have a dessert, if that. I'm not trying to hold myself up as some, iconic food god, but we are so far over into the other end of the spectrum. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how much people rely on fast food. And I made a video yesterday from talking about Jeffrey Verity Schofield, and he made a comment in the video which is pertinent and rings true. Like, if you're an adult, like Greg Doucette was saying, Robert, that the testimony from one of his clients is that one of his clients cooked a meal for himself, right? That's a testimony that Greg helped the guy cook it. And this is nothing against Greg. This has absolutely nothing to do against Greg. But if you're an adult and your major accomplishment this month is you cooked a meal for yourself, it's like being a 9-year-old. Like, way to go, Johnny! You cooked an egg. Like, if you're an adult and that's your major accomplishment is cooking a meal for yourself this month, like you got to really do some soul searching.
I would say your parents failed you horribly, and yes, that's incredibly judgmental. But
I would seriously
fuck it.
Yeah, but seriously,
people need to be accountable.
That's the society we live in. Does anybody? Yeah. And you know what, Robert? I'm just going to say this. It really gets under my skin when adults act like they don't have time to cook or like it's some amazing process. This morning for breakfast, I got up, I took the dog out, I put 6 eggs in a pan, put some salt and pepper on them, let them cook while I got dressed, put some bok choy and some diced onion in there. And when it was done, I put a slice of cheese on and ate it. And like, it's not that complicated. It's not that time consuming. If I would have went to Speedway and got one of their fake crap ass sandwiches or a protein bar and a drink, it would have taken me longer. So anybody that's using that excuse, unless you're like a brain surgeon and you just performed 2 surgeries that day and you only have 5 minutes to go home and see your wife, then you're full of shit. All right, David, since since he's all anyone in YouTube fitness is talking about, I just want to get your opinion. Is Greg just said hurting the fitness industry? I'm look. Here's the honest opinion. This has nothing to do with Greg just said. The fitness industry is and always will be a junkyard, and in that junkyard there'll be good pieces. In that junkyard there'll be bad pieces. In that junkyard there'll be pieces in progress. Like some of the information I've believed over the years was bad, but I've evolved my information. I'm sure Robert is the same. There's good guys, there's bad guys, and then there's a lot of guys in the middle that have good and bad opinions. So, there are people in this industry that are like V-Shred that just put out junk information for views, and people that put out 6 exercises for your belly roll or whatever, or to get, what do they call the lower V shape in the lower abdomen?
The Adonis belt, is that it?
Yeah, like 3 exercises for the Adonis belt. Like the 3 exercises are pushing away from the table, eating less, and driving past McDonald's. And I don't know, hurting the fitness industry. That's so black and white that it's hyperbolic, I would say.
Yeah. The easiest way to not worry about whether he's hurting the industry or not? Don't subscribe to his channel. Don't watch his videos. Don't feed into anything. Don't even pay attention. If you think somebody's hurting the industry, don't focus on them. Don't give them any attention. Don't publicize their shit. This isn't a rip at you, David. I'm just saying, this is kind of like a general thing. Said, well, this guy, just fucking ignore them. If they're saying something that's dangerous or hazardous to people, yeah, you can call them out if you so choose to. But the mere, like, you wasting any mental energy on that person or even writing a question about them or this kind of stuff, that's giving them way more publicity and credit than they ever need. They don't, they're not worth it. If you think somebody's hurting the industry, fuck off. Don't even bother with them.
David, I'm going to be honest with you, and I hope we can still be friends after this. But what hurts the industry is time wasted on this. Because, look, Robert is right. There are so many good guys in this industry. Robert, my boy Faz Lips, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, guys like that, that will rarely ever hit 10,000 views per video. And, so many in this industry will go take a look at the infotainment rather than the information. I get it. That's all. I mean, entertainment, life isn't all super serious. We need to have some sources of entertainment, but good information guys generally get left behind. They do. They can still make a great living, which is what I talked about yesterday. But, they're not going to be high view guys. They're not going to be high view guys. But in life, we have to choose if we're going to invest our time and energy into the positive or negative. And I do not go and watch any videos by anybody that is going to waste my time. Like, I have limited hours in the day. I watch the videos that are going to educate me, enlighten me, and if I want fucking entertainment, I'll go watch them. I'll go watch a space movie on Netflix. So each of you guys has that decision to make. Daniel, how's it going?
Hello.
We'll get past that one. Bilal's an insider. How's it going, Bilal? And Paul from the UK. Zebrox, how's it going? Ask me about my butt hurt. Is that what it says? My thing is being blocked here, or butthole. I can't see his.
I think it probably is butthole because it shows a little alien spaceship like sucking the guy. So I'm assuming he got the anal probe.
Yeah, I can't see because it's the YouTube symbol's blocking it. I got my massive creatine. I'm down for pre-workout. Thank you so much for your support. Would you list is a client of mine? Greetings from Scotland. And we got back-to-back Scots, Richard Murray from Scotland. We are still considering buying a smaller second home in Scotland. We're also looking at the Durham area in the UK. So that would be close to Scotland. We'll see.
Are you a fan of the movie Highlander?
I don't know. I've never seen it. Don't hate me.
Somebody that's a sci-fi nerd, you've never seen Highlander? Come
Oh,
on.
wait. Is that where they start out in the parking lot with the cheesy sort? Oh my God.
Yeah, there can be only one.
Dude, we started watching that 3 months ago, and like they're doing some cheesy sword fight in the parking lot. We're like, we pulled the ripcord on that thing, baby.
Oh yeah, I mean it's old. It has not aged well, but it's classic.
We jump ship. If rep goal is 3x10 or whatever, I rep in reserve. How should I go about the extra reps? Assuming I have a following, I'm following. But I have a high rep in reserve. How should I go after extra reps?
You need to add weight. If you've hit your rep goal already and you're not even anywhere near failure, you need to add weight.
I mean, if you're at 3x10 and you have a high RIR, you should be crushing +1s every week. And like within 3 to 4 weeks, you should be right up to the point where you're struggling to get them. I got this question from another client the other day, who's like, say you do an 8-8-8 on bench press, and then the last set you're doing for max reps. If the first 2 sets aren't like you left some in the tank, that's kind of the point of doing the last set for max reps. You don't have to, like, over time, over the course of 20, 30, 40 years, you cannot continue to pound every set, especially compounds. The best way to progress is to have a progression plan. Faz and I talked about this morning. Have a progression plan and to stick with it, even on days you feel bad. Not every set has to be balls to the wall. What you're doing is you got to get your volume in, get some quality volume, mechanical tension, and then make sure you're controlling the weight on those 2 first sets, and just go for the last set. If the last set is a high RIR, it's not for max reps.
No.
So I'm not really sure, Adam, if I'm understanding the question properly, or if we really help. But like, I just want to make sure you're not getting at like, I have to do every set to 1 RIR or my workout sucks. That's nonsense. 99% of people that fail, aren't failing because of that. They're failing because they're inconsistent with nutrition and inconsistent with training. And they go into the gym and like, I don't want to do my progression approach today. I'll just play around. And that's like their whole gym life. The rep goal system, like maximizing every set, is not something you want to do for a long period of time. It's to kind of help you get up to speed really quickly. And for most of my clients, we just do 1 set per exercise, which is a testing set. But that's going to get you where you need to go really, really quickly if you if you apply that consistently. Would you list says, put me down for massive pre-workout. You got it. And do you guys have a favorite way to eat chicken?
Cooked, not raw.
Eggs. I hate chicken, really. I'm not a big fan of the chicken. If I do, it's in some kind of a stir fry where it's buried with a lot of hot sauce or soy sauce. Of all the protein sources, my least favorite is chicken. So I don't really eat a lot of chicken. Usually I eat eggs. How about you, Robert?
I have chicken every day on a sandwich. So I'll grill, or I'll throw a bunch of chicken breasts 1 or 2 times a week in the air fryer, bake them, and then I'll just slice them super thin. So I'll make a sandwich. I've got 2 slices of wheat bread, really spicy mustard, ounce of cheese, and then I really thinly slice the chicken breast and put it on there, and I stick that in the air fryer for like another 15 minutes. And the top of it kind of gets super crispy. It almost like a chicken breast chip almost. And so you put that on there, and you get a nice little delicious grilled chicken sandwich. I had that every day for lunch. I've had a grilled chicken sandwich for lunch with some kind of steamed vegetables every day for lunch for almost 10 years now, just because that's what was an easy lunch to pack when I was going to commuting every day for engineering. And I would just take that to the office. So I've done it that way. I'm a robot, and I eat the same damn thing just about every day.
Let me backtrack a little bit, Robert, because I want to be factually accurate here. My favorite way to eat chicken is something called the buffalo wing. That's it.
Sandy would agree with you.
150,000%. Back in the day, what was the guy? Jamie Lewis. What is his brand name? I forgot. He used to be so popular over 10 years ago. But I think for a while, always eating like chicken wings every day. Just super low carb chicken wings. Like I envied that lifestyle. Chicken wings and that's probably what I retire on is chicken wings and beer.
Yeah.
Any dating tips over 40? The biggest dating tip of all, and this is something I want you guys to remember for the rest of your life, is don't spend money on a first date. Don't go to a fancy restaurant. Don't go to a $350 sporting event. The first date should be coffee and a lovely walk through the wilderness, something that costs you $5. Because if you're trying to find, the perfect partner, if you're in the dating world and you're like laying out cash on those big first dates to impress, somebody that's going to be with you for a while will appreciate coffee and a long walk. And maybe if that goes well, then you might want to up the ante a little bit. So that's tip number one. And Robert's not even 40, so he can't chime in.
No, Robert, I've been dating the same girl since I was 17. I'm 35 now.
The second tip I would give for anybody is look for somebody highly motivated, somebody that has passion in life, somebody that has dreams and goals, because there's a lot of unhealthiness. And if somebody with no dreams and goals, your life is going to boil down to watching TV or them criticizing your dreams and goals when you want to go off and do your own thing.
Yep.
So, and before we get on to the next question, we have a visitor here. My lovely wife brought me in a backup.
Because it's so good.
There we go.
Goalie.
And there's our soldier boy.
Mr. Soldier Boy. Notice he's got the camo.
Thing.
Yeah,
You see it here.
Yeah, he's
He's little.
He's a soldier.
Oh,
We didn't get to play morning bed weirdos this morning because we had to get up for the live video.
he got all
So
weird.
he was sad.
He was. You were.
Yes, Mr. B. Butters.
He's tired. He's got to have his nap now.
All right, thank you.
See ya.
All right, so I'm going to get my chair back in order here. Do I have any more? That's a big one. And, just because somebody likes you doesn't mean you have to like them. I mean, we're adults. You can meet somebody. And here's the thing, like you can meet people and they can be good people. They're just not right for you. So just because you meet somebody that's a decent human being, it doesn't mean you need to continue to date them because you're not, there's no obligation. Like that's a good person, but that's not right for me. And my last tip is do not give in. Do not just start a relationship with something that's not 100%. There's no rush. Wait, be patient. I actually was at the point after 4 years of dating after my divorce where I was like, I'm just not going to date again. I need a break. And that's when my now wife DM'd me. Vinny the Guinea Game Cat. Hey guys, love your channel. Thank you so much and love the avatar. Appreciate you joining in. Also, did you guys eat big this week? Eat big. I'm Robert. I'm on meats and plant-based and just about that. I've dropped grains for a while simply because I feel better and I tend to undereat protein when I have too many carbs in my diet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. I didn't eat big, but I'm finding I'm fuller when I eat more protein than meat. Like for breakfast yesterday, I had 6 eggs, a piece of cheese, and a thing of baby bok choy, and I was completely full until noon. So, did you eat big this week, Robert?
No. I mean, I've added in a little bit more. I know I need to eat more. The amount of movement I do during the day and stuff, I know I need to eat more. It's just more of like a time thing with focusing on work, and just I'm not hungry ever. So everything I have to do is like I have to set aside time and like force myself to eat. So yeah, no, it's I need to start eating more. I'm tired of being a little skinny bitch.
Have you ever had these, Robert? The pure protein things?
Not the shakes, but I've had the bars.
So I'm not a fan of the bars, but I got these just because honestly I hate shaking up whey, and I know they got some ingredient. I like the ingredient list in here, like a lot of added vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. And it's not perfect, but they actually taste really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird thing about these, I'm full after drinking one.
Yeah.
So I don't get, that's not a paid promotion, by the way. Daniel, tips for partial goals when trying to reach genetic muscle and strength potential. Consistency and consistency with nutrition, and consistency with attacking the plus ones. It takes people forever to get to these strength goals. Forever, because so many people backtrack, retrack, reload, unload, deload, backflip, unlock, unchain, dechain, detrain. I got to try this program. I got to try this program. I got to try this, that, and the other thing. So and so said on the internet that I should add drop sets. I'm going to try drop sets. I'm going to fuck around. And it takes forever for people to get reason to get to where they need to be. It does. So my best tip is to stay on the train tracks and get strong, and don't just do it at the abusing your body, and be consistent with your food.
Yeah.
Tips about trying to gain size while doing cardiovascular intense sports such as wrestling or MMA. Be patient. There's going to be some adaptation period when you are getting into this, where you're going to feel sore, you're going to feel like crap, you're going to feel like you're recovering slowly, and it might be a good time to eat a little bit more than normal. Eat and sleep as much as you can. Let the body recover. Once you're not as sore or you don't feel as beat up, then you're going to probably see your weight training improve. Anything to add, Robert?
No, I mean that's going to be it. Calories and then sleep. Those are the two biggest drivers for recovery and growth.
When I was gaining my most muscle, I would go play basketball for an hour or two after, and I just ate like a vacuum, and I just slept. So John's a young man. If you're eating quality foods, John, there's little chance you're going to get fat, especially with your activity level. So focus on really good food choices for 80% of it, and you'll be good to go. Woodulus, we prefer Scotland. That's because you're biased, but I prefer Scotland as well. Is there an app or website you use to monitor how many vitamins you get from food? MyFitnessPal?
Yeah, I think the pro version keeps that. Part of the issue with that is all the various cooking methods are going to have some kind of nutrient degradation to a certain extent. So there's a recent paper that I think Andy Galpin showed that microwaving actually helped retain the most certain amount of vitamins and minerals. Boiling your stuff is probably the worst you can do.
Wait, that's scandalous.
I know it is. Yeah, microwaving actually helped retain some of the highest levels of nutrition in there. Yeah, that's going to be. I mean, if you're eating a wide enough and diverse enough diet, getting enough protein, like high quality protein sources, you probably don't need to major in the minors. Some of the things you might want to be on the lookout for, like common nutrient deficiencies among people, especially active men and athletes in general, are magnesium and zinc. Vitamin D, everybody tends to be deficient in that too, just from not spending enough time outdoors in the sun with enough of their skin exposed. So vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium, those are really the three heavy hitters. Maybe potassium if you don't eat enough dairy products or dark leafy greens, bananas, potatoes, things like that.
Robert, I just checked MyFitnessPal. I have the free version, and it shows me macros, fiber, sugar, saturated fats, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, cholesterol, sodium, potassium, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. So while it doesn't show everything, the free version does show some of the essentials like calcium, iron, No vitamin D, unfortunately. I don't even recall what, if you're looking at it, there's probably better apps out there and people can, just because something's the most popular doesn't always mean it's the best for what we do, like our little niche. So if anybody has a suggestion, drop it down. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Paul, UK for me, 4 different countries most prefer their own: Scotland, England, Wales, and North Ireland. So there you have it, Robert.
Okay, there we go.
I'm from Scotland, but still prefer to be as Britain. South Ireland is not part of the UK. I watched the Critical Drinker. He's hilarious. I got to check him out.
Freaking hysterical. Go look at his. He excoriated the Star Wars trilogy and basically torched the Hollywood elitist mentality of why the ratings were so piss poor for last weekend. It was all amazing.
Yeah, the critic ratings are just hilarious. I always check what the Rotten Tomatoes review is from the critics and from the audience. And if it's an artsy fartsy, certain type of movie, you always know it's going to get a good rating from.
Yeah, or super woke, or super politically and socially charged to a certain demographic. Yeah.
What I find sad is that, as far as super woke and the critics, sometimes I think if it's a movie which the main characters are non-white, it's like the reviews are almost always up there, like the critic reviews. And I've noticed a discrepancy in some of the movies where the mains were non-white, and like the movie sucked. And and it's like, I don't want to get into all that politics, but sometimes some of these critics are super woke to the fact that, they don't look at a movie for what the movie is. They look at it through a lens of their wokeness, and it's not always fair. So
yeah, agreed.
100% on point with the post-TV generation. I also think people tended to go to bars or meet at a friend's place to watch sports. Yeah, that's part of it as well. Watching sports with friends, man, it's fun just to watch a ball game with friends and, enjoy things, Super Bowl parties and things like that, bars. But more and more bars that won't support, like LeBron James in his recent comments. I saw some bars that removed the NBA season pass or whatever because of it at their bar. So, it is what it is.
Shows you how far removed I am from, and I have no idea what you're talking about with
LeBron.
We don't have to get into it. Sand and I just finished watching The Last Dance on Netflix, the Bulls documentary about their 6th run for the double three-peat that they had. That was awesome. So if anybody hasn't seen that yet, and I realize we're probably late to the party and watching that, but I grew up as a fan of the Bulls and Michael Jordan, so it was awesome seeing that and kind of reliving all of those things because I watched all the championships as a kid.
Lindsay, wasn't getting political, but just most of us don't say we're from Britain or UK. I got you. I understand completely.
Mm-hmm.
In America, we don't usually say I'm from America. We usually say I live in Ohio or I live in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing.
Yep.
Any tips on getting more and better sleep? Yeah, consistency. Sleep hygiene. Robert and I talk about this a lot. Robert, I'm going to let you tackle this right out of the gate.
Go to bedtime at the same time every night. Set a bedtime just like you set an alarm to wake up in the morning. Go to this bed at the same time, even on the weekends. Do that as much as possible. Avoid blue light sources 2 hours before bed if you can, because blue light is a high intensity, short wavelength light that actually disrupts melatonin production in the body. Melatonin is the main hormone that regulates your sleep-wake circadian rhythm. So if you can't completely avoid blue light, either put on like one of those blue light filters on your phone, like your phone's got some, I think it's called F.Lux or like night mode or something like that. Or you can wear those like blue blocker glasses if you really want to go that route. Do some relaxing activities before bed. You could do some stretching, reading, have some like herbal tea if that helps you chill out or anything. Avoid sources of stress right before bed, like 2 hours or so before bed, stop looking at social media, stop looking at work emails if you can, stop looking at text messages if you can, put your phone on silent. Spend some time like just chilling out. You can do a warm shower or a warm bath if you want to do that. That's the main hit. And avoid caffeine and alcohol immediately before bed. And if you're super caffeine sensitive, cut off caffeine at like 3 p.m. It's got a 5.5 hour half-life.
So, guys, we're about halfway through, at least halfway through. Post up your questions now if you're new. Don't hesitate to post up questions. We'd love to hear from you. Rob, I'm going to touch on something that I see as an issue between couples that have been together for several years, and that's the tendency not to be in sync with bedtime. So I consider that to be an issue. Because when the man's up later than the woman, or the woman's up later than the man, going to bed at the same time opens a magical door where you can continue your adult relations. That helps with sleep, and it's amazing to me how many couples have gotten away from that. Like, they've just gotten so used to their partner, they almost take them for granted. Me and my wife do everything together because she's my best friend, and I enjoy her company. And we go to bed at the same time each night. We get up at the same time each morning. We share all of our meals together. And I know some of you are going to say, "Oh, isn't that cute?" But it's the point really is the people that never do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's great for the relationship. I don't think it's great for sleep.
Agreed.
And sex is sex. I mean, sex is great. We can all smirk when that magic 3-letter word is mentioned, but it's great for health. It's great for sleep. It's great for everything. There's no downsides to sex. Beef Lewis, if caffeine constricts vessels, why do we take it before lifting? Isn't that just temporary? Wouldn't that be super temporary, Robert?
It is extremely transient, and that is a big, big misconception from the bodybuilding industry. The thing that caffeine, it has a very transient effect, if that. Most of the time, these vasopressive or these vasoconstricting effects of stimulants are the things like DMAA, DMHA, the super aggressive stimulants. Caffeine in and of itself, I'm going to share my screen, Steve. I've put together like a 3,000-word article on this on the Supplement Engineer site. It's almost 3 years old. It's 2.5 years old.
Does caffeine reduce blood flow and muscle pumps?
I got so sick of hearing this all the time. But there's a bunch. So caffeine does constrict blood vessels in the brain, which is why you see it in migraine medications like Excedrin. But here are a bunch of different things about how caffeine actually increases blood flow, or how it supports that. And I've got all the different mechanisms outlined here. So it's been actually shown to directly act on endothelial cells, stimulating production of nitric oxide. Here you go.
There you go. And Robert, if anybody wants this link, it's at the Supplement Engineer. You have a blog tab, is that correct?
Yeah, supplementengineer.com. Just supplementengineer.com, and at the very end, you can go right there, blog. And then just scroll all the way down.
There you go. It
right
goes
there.
forever.
See?
Robert, it looks like you actually work.
Sometimes I do, yeah. And see, Elevate TP. You want to know why Elevate TP is in Massive Iron Creatine? This article is over a year old, so everything and anything about it.
Robert actually works. Robert, more and more as I go about my day, I see like people wandering around just doing random stuff more than ever. And like, does anybody work anymore? This last year has been so strange. Just seems like, especially with people that are working at home, they're more flexible with their schedules. It gives the appearance that people aren't working. All right, Lindsay, 3 meals a day, binge eating. No, binge eating is binge eating. And I'm not being dismissive, but binge eating is a disorder. And binge eating is the drive to eat a ridiculous amount of food that it far surpasses hunger. When I was a binge eater, I would continue to eat well past being full. Some of it's mouth pleasure. There's various reasons. Some of it's mouth pleasure. Some of it's stress relief. You could have chips, and then I want to taste the ice cream. And you can have the ice cream, and then I want to taste the salt again. So, no, absolutely not. And I'm not sure if somebody said that, but if somebody did, somebody needs to be banished from the internet. All right, Art Gonzalez, greetings from Mexico. With hot weather upon us, should we supplement with potassium? It's definitely good to get in your electrolytes, Art. Robert, I'll let you tackle this.
I mean, it really depends on if you're somebody that's sedentary and not doing a lot of stuff outdoors. You probably don't need to worry about it. The need for additional potassium supplementation is going to be dependent on the ambient temperature, how much physical activity you're doing during the day, size, all of those kind of things, diet. But if you're somebody that's outside doing a lot of physical manual labor in the hot summer, then yeah, it could be beneficial to have an electrolyte supplement or just eat more bananas, potatoes, other potassium-rich foods, dark leafy greens, yogurt, dairy products, things like that. Avocados are another really good source of potassium. That's kind of an unsung hero of that, which it's delicious. So yeah, is it necessary? Only if you're training a lot and doing a lot of hard manual labor outside.
Yeah, I was going to say what Robert says. If you're doing manual labor, you're training in hot environments, like us when we run, 2-3 hours, you're okay. But if you're going longer than that, we need to get in electrolytes, or else we can even start to feel a little bit sick. So 2-3 hours is usually okay. But if you're going to be out longer than that, you definitely have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And if you're training in it, don't be sodium phobic, and definitely make sure you have potassium foods in your diet. The other day on Instagram, I posted that I had these turkey sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I had deli meat. Sometimes when I'm in a pinch, I'll have the deli meat. It's as good as you can get. No hormones and no added this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of sodium, and someone went after me about the amount of sodium, and me being kind of a smart ass at times, I said, do you monitor your sugar intake as much as you monitor my sodium intake? And that they came back, well, oh, you're being so sarcastic. And like, hey, you started, asshole. I mean,
exactly.
I bust my balls on sodium intake. But the bottom line is, like, athletes don't really need to worry about sodium intake as long as they're not doing an abusive diet. Is that fair, Robert?
I would agree. Yeah. And there's an old article I wrote on the Tiger Fitness website about sodium intake and how everybody thinks that higher sodium intakes are directly causative of, blood pressure, things and like that. And that's actually not the case. In some of the more recent studies, that sodium intake is not as dangerous as a lot of people have said it was. So you can go look for that. You can type in sodium or salt study or sodium Tiger Fitness Robert Chinetsky, and it'll pop up in Google somewhere.
If your sodium intake's up here and the rest of your electrolytes are down here and your diet's pretty crap, then you're probably going to have high blood pressure.
Agreed.
Frank Fitness, Robert, I had never thought of that. I guess England would be my choice. Yeah, it's pretty much with America. We don't really think about it. Massive Creatine for the win. Come and support the boys with a purchase. Thank you. Appreciate it. Come buy these things so we can get out the Massive Iron pre-workout. Roger, I love you, Roger, but I got to correct you. Sean Nalawani, not Nala whatsoever, he's not king, Roger. I am king. I am King Roger. I declare myself king of the world. And Robert is my faithful military commander. We're going after world domination.
A benevolent dictator.
Richard Murray, Highlander is a classic. Yeah, it did not age well at all. Same thing with what I was saying about, like, the Harrison Ford movie. I can't remember. I'm so old. It's been, what's the Harrison Ford movies where they're going through the jungle and all that crap?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. The special effects are like watching a B movie.
Some of them are not super stellar.
All right, we got follow on Instagram at dhuckins_. I want everybody to go over to his Instagram and post in his comments section. Thanks for the nudes. Okay, thanks for the nudes. Just go post a comment. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for joining us. Somebody's going to do that now, and I'm going to get in trouble. I'm just having a little fun. Gonzalo, tips and hacks for hunger on a cut. I'm going to start off with this one, Robert, and that is don't rely on sugar. Don't rely on flour. Rely a little bit less on carb heavy and rely a little bit more on veggie. When I say don't rely on carbs as much, hear me out. Make sure you're getting enough veggies, plant-based foods, okay? And then you can fill in the gaps with your carbs, your oatmeal and rice. But Robert and I talked about this perhaps last week or the week before. You can have a Quest bar for breakfast. What are they, Robert? 190, 200, 210, somewhere in that range? Or you can have 2 hard-boiled eggs or just 2 eggs and 2 oranges, and it's pretty close to that level. And which one's going to fill you up longer? I mean, that's a stupid simple example of food volume. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but when you're eating real foods, it takes a little bit longer to digest. You're going to feel a little bit better. So the biggest thing on a cut is cut out all crap and just make it good foods. That's tip number 1. Robert, anything to add to that?
Yeah, get enough sleep, because not getting enough sleep has been shown to reduce feelings of satiety, increase feelings of hunger, increase desire to snack. So that's something important to keep it there. Stay sufficiently hydrated during the day. Eat enough fiber. Eat fibrous foods, like Steve was saying, fruits, veggies, definitely. Some other things you can consider from the supplement side of things. Caffeine has a moderate appetite suppressant effect. Some other supplements to keep in mind as far as suppressing appetite are glucomannan, which is a type of fiber, Caralluma fimbriata, which is a type of cactus. So 500 to 1,000 milligrams of Caralluma fimbriata. 5-HTP, which is a precursor to serotonin. There's been some interesting research showing that serotonin, increasing supplementation with 5-HTP can increase feelings of fullness, reduce appetite. So 250 to 300 milligrams of that. And then you can also go for a Capsimax, which is the patented cayenne pepper extract. So somewhere in the range of 35 to 50 milligrams of that can help, has been shown to also help reduce appetite as well.
I'm going to jump in with some points on hunger management. When I tell people at some point they're going to have to be hungry during the day, it's not just as simple as suck it up, buttercup. Here's what I mean. Far too many people eat too much during the day. Snack, bigger lunch, like I got to eat this, I got to eat that. And when they get to the evening, all of a sudden they have no calories left and they have a 300, 400 calorie dinner and they're done and they got like 5 hours left in the day. Hunger management, it's better in general to push things or minimize things during the day and struggle a little bit during the day than to get to the end of the day and not have any calories left. And then you not only have to go from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, but all the way through the morning. So hunger management, you got to be smart. Like we just talked about, if you're doing a Quest bar for breakfast, how about do 2 eggs and 2 oranges or something like that? If you're doing a mid-morning snack, cut it out or do something like this that I found to be filling. Breakfast, 2 eggs and 2 oranges. Snack this, you're at 340 calories, 350 calories, a light lunch, and then suck it up till dinner. And save yourself plenty of room at the end of the day so you have room for air. And people that I work with that are like, I'm hungry. I'm like, you're going to be hungry. It's a cut. Even with all the tips and hacks in the world, at some point, you're just going to need to go for 3 or 4 hours during the day where you just like, okay, I'm hungry, but I'm not going to die. So that's my opinion. Raphael, number one, if it has wings, it's not buffalo. All right, Graybeard, Jamie Lewis is Chaos and Pain. I'm so old, I forgot everything I remembered and remembered everything I forgot. And Jamie, I interviewed Jamie way back in the day. I used to support his site early on, when it was what it was. I even brought him on to write at Tiger Fitness for a while. I actually helped him get his brand into Tiger Fitness. I championed for him, and I'll just leave it at that. The original Rizik, favorite way to eat chicken is nuggets. If you want to do that like really sexy, you get out like some flaming hot Doritos and crunch them up, and then you put on like a flaming hot Dorito crust on those things, like chicken tenders or chicken nuggets. If you're going to go full piggy pig, do it right, Or if you want to go natural, all natural, do almond flour crust, which is what I used to do.
I thought he was just talking about McDonald's chicken nuggets. I mean, my brother and I lived off of those when we were kids.
Oh, I find those to be the most disgusting chicken nuggets. I don't see how anybody can eat those.
Dude, they were so good. We would split a 20-piece. Oh, yeah, and go to town. Have a bunch of ketchup and then just dunk the nuggets. We would fight over the little boots. And then we learned how to eat real food.
All right, what do we got here? Would you list? This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Greg Doucette. Sebastian Roux, Chronometer is an app specifically for that. I've heard that mentioned before, but I've never actually downloaded it. And I see I got a couple people after this recommending that. So, say, Robert, I got to ask you a question. What do you think about each week? The best question of the week, we give away like a free T-shirt shipped anywhere in the world.
I think that sounds good.
All right, but I'll let Robert pick it each week. So
you're gonna make me the asshole now. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can pick one this week, or we can start next week. But we'll pick one moving forward. Starting now, Robert, you list your favorite question. If you come to one that's like, this is the top one, don't tell anybody. And at the end of the live video, I'll post my email to the winner, and they have to come back and email me, and I'll send it anywhere in the world for free. So we're going to start doing that right now. I've been thinking about it, but forgot several times. So post up your questions, the best questions, and it doesn't have to be like the most scientifically like what percentage of whatever would you recommend taking after, what if you make Robert laugh, if you tickle his ovaries a little bit, if it's just witty or whatever, hey, comment, question, we'll let you win. It doesn't matter. So get something in now. Jose Martinez, starting my journey 3 months in, went from 95 to 85. Well done. That's about 22 pounds. Is that correct? Doing calisthenics since I'm poor. And the pandemic closes everything down here in Chile. Not sure that I've had any Chilean I've never had a Chilean client, but glad to have you on board. Some of the fun things that I recommend to clients, obviously, are push-ups, tricep get-ups. What do you think of this, Robert? I recommend this a lot. Pause body weight jump squats, where they pause in the hole, 1001, jump up, pause in the hole.
Yep, eliminate the stretch reflex, yeah.
You can superset those with lunges, Bulgarian split squats. There's some back exercises like door rows and things like that.
Buy a cheap doorway pull-up bar or a suspension trainer. Maybe if you can, there's a suspension trainer that's like $30 that I use. If you can scrounge that together, just go find a tree branch outside. You can do pull-ups on that, man, and just find a piece of rope, and you got your own suspension trainer right there. Just hold on to the rope, and you'll get some bonus forearm work out of that too.
Yeah, get a backpack or a duffel bag and fill it with weights and do single arm rows or something. You got to get super creative, but when there's a will, there's a way, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Shrimp squats are another great leg exercise.
Mr. Bugs, Chronometer shows everything. Only bad thing is it's not as user friendly. That's good to know. Hansel, do you have any recommendations on how to train the rotator cuff? that's out of my wheelhouse. And, what I mean by that is if it's not my area of expertise, I don't comment on it. There's probably some good information out there on YouTube as far as prehab and rehab for rotator cuff, but that's something I've never done. It's something I know very little about. Do you know anything about it, Robert?
Just nothing outside of like the normal resistance band, like external rotations like that and going sideways. And go check out Athlean X. That's the easiest thing. Go check out Athlean X's channel. He's got a ton of rotator cuff stuff. He's dealt with professional baseball players, and they're the ones that have the rotator cuff injuries. So go check out his stuff.
Yeah, and before any of you guys get snarky about Athlean X, I would say I would trust him all day long with rotator cuff stuff. But when it comes to like deadlift advice, not so much. So just know that, the Athlean X, there's some things he's really good at and some things he probably shouldn't be teaching. And, Facebook's loving us this week, Robert. We have absolutely no likes over on Facebook and no comments on Facebook. Sometimes I wonder why I even go to the platform at all.
We're not woke enough, Steve.
Yeah, you can run these videos. We're running simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook, and Facebook's like Death Valley. Nothing lives there. So what do we got here? Any recommendations how to pace yourself after long periods of not lifting? My gym opened up after 6 months of being closed. I have a video on this channel, Mantis. Go to the main page of this channel, and there's a search button, and search returning to the gym. Let me just do that now and see what we get here. Hold on. Let me go to the YouTube. And let me go to the channel. Okay, so share screen. And I'm going to dip this away a little bit. Here's the little handy dandy. Return to the gym. And what do we get? Training after extended layoff. How to train when you return to a gym. Should a novice returning to the gym or an intermediate use a novice workout? All kinds of things. So if we can't get to your questions on here, just know that like a lot of times people will tell me, hey, you should make a video on this. I probably made like 5 of them. And I'm not trying to be dismissive, but there's some good information over there as well. When you return to the gym, the first thing you got to do, the first thing I suggest is making sure you do muscle soreness management. Like, don't go into the gym like, yes, I've returned, bust down the doors, and you got your shield and your sword, and you're going to slay everything. Nah, just kind of ease in a little bit. Maybe do 2 sets per exercise, two workouts a week. Ease in, let your body adapt. Next week, maybe go up to 3 workouts. By week 3, you're going to you're not going to be back up to full speed with weight, but you should kind of be at, 60 to 70% of where you used to be without getting hurt. And then you can slowly just build up. Just really listen to your body at that point. Take 3 to 4 weeks to ease into it and just listen to your body. Anything to add, Robert?
No, you touched on anything I would have said, Steve. Just take it nice and slow. You're going to want to jump in and try to do what you were used to doing. Don't. You're going to end up with horrible DOMs and potentially increase your risk of injury.
Take your time. Your muscle and strength will come back. Don't try to rush it. Don't get hurt. RKO by Orton. Should I still be able to progress on my exercises on a cut in my second year of lifting? Maybe, maybe not. That's a pretty substantial deficit.
Yeah, it's an aggressive one.
So I'm trying to dissuade you because inconsistency on fat loss is the biggest issue. And if you're rolling with it, just roll with it. All right. But the stronger you get, the harder it is to add strength on a cut. So for example, if your bench press is 135 and your squat is 185, I don't want to look at second year of lifting. I want to look at strength levels. If you're on a cut going down in calories and your strength levels are still beginner, late beginner, you have a chance to build strength. If you're benching 400 and you're on a cut, get ready for the plane crash. So there's no right and wrong. There's no definitive answer for everyone. The stronger you get, the harder it is to maintain strength on a cut. Anything to add, Robert?
Nope. You got it all again, Steve.
All right. John, also, is there a thing you can specifically eat to help with soreness? I find that I eat 5,000 milligrams of potassium. I don't know. Food volume, I think, is the biggest one, Robert. What do you think?
Total calories, consume enough protein for soreness. Magnesium can also help with muscle relaxation, soreness. Get a good form of magnesium. Don't go with a magnesium oxide. That's shit for bioavailability. Go with magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, something along those lines. You can also look into a few other supplements. Something like 2 grams of L-carnitine, L-tartrate has been shown to reduce damage for muscle fibers, especially during eccentric exercise. It's also been shown to upregulate androgen receptor density in a few studies. What else? L-alanine, L-glutamine, which is a dipeptide. So it's alanine, the amino acid alanine, bonded to L-glutamine. 2 grams of that's actually been shown to be a bioavailable form of glutamine, that it survives transit through the GI system and gets absorbed into the small intestines, has been shown to improve muscle recovery. You could also look at 450 to 500 milligrams of a patented tart cherry extract, something like a Cherry Pure or Vita Cherry. Either one of those are good ones. Just get enough sleep. Those are the main things. Make sure your volume's not too crazy, and that's all she wrote.
Thanks, Robert. I got a question for folks off topic, but these live videos we can also stream on Twitch if we wanted to. And I know Twitch is mainly a gamer platform, but is there content out there on Twitch that that is not where it'd be worthwhile streaming this? I doubt it, but you can let me know. Tech 411, pink salt Himalayan benefits for thyroid.
No, there's a lot of woo-woo shit around pink Himalayan salt just because it's a more natural salt than table salt or iodized salt. And there's all these claims like it's got 84 different trace minerals and all of that. If you look at the actual like molecular structure or like the contents of the stuff that's in it, it's still 98% sodium chloride. So that means those 84 trace minerals are making up 2% or less than 2% of the actual mass or weight of pink Himalayan salt. And so the benefits for the thyroid are that maybe it's a naturally occurring source of iodine. The amount of that is paltry, to say the least. There's no magical benefits to pink Himalayan salt. It's a bunch of woo-woo shit from the granola eating crowd out there. There's also no research to show any of this has actually had any benefits. There's no magic to pink Himalayan salt outside of its sodium and chloride content. Any benefits would be through its iodine content, which if you buy iodized salt or you take a good quality multivitamin, your iodine needs are going to be covered. If not, you can also eat some seaweed. That's another rich source of iodine, as is shrimp.
Yeah, no, Robert touches on an important thing here. There's a huge market for the types of products pushed by what would you call the magical mystical tree hugger market, Robert, where
granola eaters,
the earthy granola eaters, like
naturopaths and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, you could open up a shop selling all this nonsense and they would scoop it up, and I'd probably toss in their CBD oil, and this will probably trigger some people, but you know, me and Robert talked about this a couple of years ago, before I left, when I was at Tiger Fitness, about everybody pushing CBD oil for everything. And caveat, we are not saying that it might not have a benefit for some specific applications, but back in the day, there was no science to back anything. So because there's no science to back anything doesn't mean there's no benefit. It's just that a lot of the things people were claiming were scientifically not substantiated. Have things improved with that, with CBD oil in the last?
Some interesting research coming up with it. I'm not as up to speed with it as I was a couple of years ago when it first broke onto the market. Still, the main, like, although there are benefits of it coming out, sourcing and quality is still a big issue in the space because so many people are jumping into it. There's such shitty suspect extracts out there that you got to be real careful with where you're sourcing your ingredients from.
There's a CBD place locally, and we drive by it frequently, and I've never seen anybody in it. And it's
Yeah.
not a criticism of CBD oil. I'm simply saying, like, the hype has died down. Somebody in our friend circle opened a business in Cincinnati, and I think it lasted like 6 months. With this type of stuff, you probably need a bigger business base than just one product. But
Yeah.
let's see. Favorite movie? Mine are There Will Be Blood, Lord of the Rings, TKD. What is that?
I think it might be The Dark Knight.
Gran Torino and Blade Runner 2049. Alien and Aliens, Event Horizon, No Country for Old Men. Cormac McCarthy is one of my favorite authors. So those are some of my absolute favorites. I can watch No Country for Old Men every week, and I'd never get tired of it. Probably Aliens too as well. How about you, Robert?
Well, like, are we going like favorite, like super high quality movies? Or are we going like guilty pleasure favorite action movie? I mean,
Whatever.
man,
we're just an average Joe.
shit.
I mean, what can you watch? Like, a favorite movie I would argue, it has to be something you could watch every year and never grow tired of.
Oh man, that's a lot. Okay. Rocky IV, top of the list. Top Gun, both of those are up there. What else are we going with? A Few Good Men, outstanding. Pulp Fiction, I can always watch that. Christmas Vacation, The Grinch, the original animated The Grinch, I can always watch that. The Godfather, Part 1 and 2, Part 3, I forget that exists. The original Star Wars trilogy, I can always watch that no matter what. I'm trying to think of like some more recent stuff. I know I realize those are almost all older movies, but that's when movies are great. Lord of the Rings, I can always do.
I used to like The Thing from the 1980s, but
That's Halloween. I got to put that Halloween.
Well,
I can always
Halloween
watch
is
Halloween.
definitely up there. I mean, Halloween I could watch every year. It's just a classic.
Oh, Fez just got me there. Bottom of the screen. Bloodsport, yes. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Any martial arts movie? I mean, shit. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I love my martial arts movies. So Bloodsport is up there. Kickboxers up there.
Conan.
What else? The Raid. If nobody's seen The Raid, go watch that movie. That is awesome. It's flat out awesome.
The Raid.
Yeah.
Have I seen it? Oh, that's with the tower and no wait.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Iko Uwais is the guy. Is he Indonesian? I believe. He's awesome. I mean, he's a martial arts badass, man. Fantastic martial artist.
All right. You guys can drop your favorites down below. We'll see if your favorites are good or bad in our eyes. Beef Lewis, there's a video of you squatting and you wiped out. Did you tear a hamstring? Yeah, I got a video of me tearing my hamstring on this channel. I used to have it in the introduction. When I was 40, nearing the somewhere in the age of 49, it was around January, I believe, several years back. I was probably about 30 pounds away from the all-time over 50 powerlifting world record, the real world record. And I was hoping to cruise into the age of 50 and just compete to see how close I could get. I didn't know if I would hit it, but to be like second or third all-time in your weight class over 50 would be pretty cool. But I was at the gym and I tore my left hamstring. And what I later found out is that the floor was uneven, and you could see my hips going to the side a little bit during squat reps. But the interesting thing, it was at the Tiger Fitness gym. I screamed like a bitch, and like you lay there for literally 2 minutes, not wanting to look or move because you don't know if a bone sticking. You don't know what happened at first, right? Is a bone sticking out? Is my leg all like that? I didn't know what was going on. And you can see in the video, like, people walking by, employees just like, oh, he's laying on the ground screaming. Let's just leave him there. That's literally in the video. That was a wonderful thing. So yeah, that was the only time I tore anything during lifting. And the comeback from it took forever. Okay, by Orton, would you recommend taking vitamin D as a supplement? 100%. Is it better with K2?
If you don't spend enough time in the sunlight or you don't have access to it,
I'm gonna go pee.
have fun. Wash your hands.
I'm like,
Shake it more than twice. You're playing with it, Steve. Would you recommend taking vitamin D as a supplement? Yes, I would if you are deficient in it or you don't spend enough time outdoors in sunlight or you don't live in an area that gets a lot of sunshine. So if you're like, if we're talking the United States, like if you're in above like the Ohio area, up Minnesota, Montana, all of that stuff, yeah, you're not getting a lot of direct sunlight even in the warmer summer months. So yes, depending on 3,000 to 5,000 IUs a day, and then with K2. K1 is pretty prevalent in the diet. The body doesn't convert it very efficiently into K2. There's not very many foods that are rich in K2 naturally. There's a few, but not as many as you get it. So that's why Steve and I, when we do release the vitamin D3 and K2 supplement, we are putting them together because there is some research to show that they work better in tandem, particularly in regards to cardiovascular health. And then in the area of 80 to 120 micrograms of K2. So that'll be another little probably cheap add-on supplement we'll do on there because neither of those are overly expensive. So you can do D3 and K2, package them together. You take care of two of your essential fat-soluble vitamins, and it's best to take that with some kind of fat source, fat-containing meal or something. Or if you're going to take it with just supplements, maybe 3 grams of fish oil would be sufficient.
And thank you, Robert. I'm looking at this comment. Cut water intake. That's a very dangerous thing to post. I mean, not dangerous, but I mean,
there's no context to it.
There's no context and there's no benefit from cutting water intake. Everything you have on the internet, there's going to be somebody that says you either need to really ramp it up or you really need to pull it back. I never overthink about hydration. I just kind of keep it natural. But I do have some clients, Robert, that their water intake is minimal. And I've had one of them end up in the hospital, nearly having to have surgery because there was a blockage in their colon. And they're just like this person had a fear of urinating in public restrooms or. So they would literally not drink water all throughout the workday to, so they wouldn't have to go to the bathroom at work and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what you're mentioning, Tech. Cutting water really usually doesn't help anything at all, unless you're overhydrating. Like it, Robert. What's the level of would you consider overhydration? There are some people that are like, I got my 2 gallons of water in a day and my 2,048 ounces. And like they try to drink that every day and they really have no focus on electrolyte intake.
Correct.
And I would, that point I would consider borderline unhealthy. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, that can lead to hyponatremia. If you're not replacing enough, like you water down your body so much that you're going to create you're not going to have a good balance between water and electrolytes in the body. And that can be just as dangerous.
Yeah, I always get a kick out of these people, I'm doing it for my health. I'm drinking 3,000 ounces of water a day. I'm like, how do you do that?
The dose makes the poison. You can die from drinking too much water.
I'd probably, I don't know, get 100 ounces of liquids a day, and still that's enough peeing for me.
Yeah.
So is it just me or is it almost inevitable when doing dumbbell lateral raises to hit the traps really hard? Yeah, anything where you are a lot of shoulder work hits the traps. Yeah. It's not an isolation exercise. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. When I haven't trained shoulders or overhead presses in a while, the thing that gets sore are traps. So that's okay. That just because you might feel it in your traps or feel soreness in the traps doesn't mean you're not getting benefit. Anything to add to that, Robert?
No, I don't. I mean, there's not risks. Like you hear a lot of people talking about trying to deactivate the traps or don't let the traps take over on the thing. I mean, you moving your arm from here to here, like the bottom like half or third of the thing, the traps aren't controlling that. That's all the side delt. So I mean, if yeah, I don't know. It's that could open up a whole can of worms. That could open up a whole can of worms with stuff.
All righty. Leon, is 1 gram per pound of body weight optimal during a cut, or should I go higher? I don't like those standards because you could be 130 pounds or you could be 280 pounds. And, the 1 pound of protein per body weight, don't like standards like that at all. They're arbitrary. What you really have to do is, first and foremost, maybe consider your lean body mass. And then during a cut, you want to find a reasonable amount of protein for not only your lean body mass, but your current calorie goals. And during a cut, you probably want to increase that slightly. Is that fair, Robert?
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions, Leon, I'd be glad to help, but I'd need to know like what your maintenance level is, maybe where your physique is, and maybe personalize it a little bit. Dave, putting hard-boiled eggs in ice water right after boiling helps with peeling the shell. So saith the experts, but I've tried it, Dave, and I'm a skeptic. I've tried all the tricks.
Yeah, it's a mixed batch. Like use really old eggs and then put it in ice water. I mean, I put them in ice water anyway just to cool them down real quick, and sometimes it helps. I'd say probably 2/3 of the time I get a clean peel, but there's a few eggs that every now and then just.
No, I peeling a hard-boiled egg, I would rather punch myself in the groin repeatedly. I'm beyond that. I have a good pan at home where I just kind of cook them and it gets them done and doesn't no stick. Gets them done in like 3 minutes. That's my go-to. John, a suggestion for hunger management: 3-pound salad, get 8 ounces of chicken, a lot of spinach. Yeah, I know where you're going, buddy, and I'm right there with you.
Agreed.
You can fill up that bowl. Like, instead of doing tacos or nachos, we put a base of spinach, and then we use turkey. So we have a base of lower calories, and then I put on jalapenos and veggies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm right there with you. You can have a lot of flavor with that sort of stuff as well. Robert, do you ever smash Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, or Pizza Hut? Before you answer this, Robert, I want everybody's favorites. Where you eat when you smash it, what your go-tos are when you smash it. I'll let you go first. Pizza Hut's probably in the last of my list, so I'll tell you that much.
So prior to 2 weeks ago, I couldn't tell you the last time I actually had fast food. I mean, the closest thing was probably like a Subway or something like that when I was traveling for one of the Arnold's or Olympias or something like that. I haven't had fast food on a consistent basis, probably in over, or even on a semi-regular basis, because we would go, when Santa and I still lived in Louisiana, on the weekends, we'd go out to my uncle's place in Ponchatoula, and he's got a pontoon boat that we would go out in. We would go out there, drink all day, have fun on the water, play, on the jet skis or whatnot. Come back, and we'd always hit up Cane's, Raising Cane's chicken fingers, which actually, funny enough, was invented by some LSU grads. Fabulous cane sauce.
Opportunity to talk about LSU.
Agreed.
All
right. So then 2 weeks ago on the Final Scoop podcast, we did an eating challenge. We did an epic reward meal. One of the guys on there, the owner of Apollo, and Robbie, crushed 6,500 calories in an hour. What I chose to do for that was Pizza Hut. It was absolutely disgusting. Like, I paid the extra for like extra jalapenos and all this other stuff. I think there was maybe 6 jalapenos on the entire goddamn pizza. So I ordered 2 large pizzas. I got through the first one pretty good. So I was 8 slices of pizza. And then I ate 2 more slices from the second pizza, and it's gross. And the reason I went with a chain restaurant is because I want to be able to track how many calories, because all of us were trying to see who could eat the most calories. And it was absolutely disgusting. The pepperonis weren't crisp like I used to remember it. The cheese was blah. There was hardly any sauce on the crust. The crust tasted like a sponge. I should have gone with like our local pizza place, which actually makes good pizza. But no, I never crave shitty food from fast food restaurants. I really don't. I would much rather. I like the food I cook here. Even going out to like a nice restaurant, it's fine, but I feel much more fulfilled and satisfied just eating the shit I usually do. Yeah, I don't really smash, like if I'm eating stuff, I don't smash it to like scarf it down real quick. I enjoy it. The only time I smashed something was that Pizza Hut pizza, which I will never do again. I'll get pizza from a decent place.
Do you have Marco's down there?
I'm sure we do. I just don't know where.
Marco's light years ahead of Pizza Hut. And when we have pizza, that's what we go for. They have beef, they have bacon, they have pepperoni, they have old world pepperoni, they have meatballs. They have like if I'm gonna smash calories, I'm gonna go Marco's thin crust with like every meat times 3.
Yeah.
Because like back in the day when we would get pizza, we'd always do the thick crust stuff, and like my God, to gag that stuff down now, it's just like eating all bread.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could probably smash some McDonald's French fries. I would have no problem with that. I'm sure those are still as good as when I was a kid, like super thin, super crispy, super salty.
Burger King, once every 3 months, I get a Whopper because I like the Whopper. If I go to McDonald's once a month, I'll get 3 McDoubles because they're like 380 calories, 22, 24 grams of protein. And sometimes it's just fun to have one with a Diet Coke. Taco Bell. My wife hates Taco Bell.
Yeah, I've never had. I've had Taco Bell, I think, once when I was 10 or 11. I always thought it was gross. Sandy grew up. Sandy loved that when she was growing up.
If we're in the mood for Mexican, we're gonna Grubhub like fajitas where we get chicken or steak and onions and stuff like that, and where we can manage the calories. What we do mostly is sushi. Last night I did sashimi, 18 pieces, and I like sushi and sashimi. That's my big. We do that once a week.
Yeah. I don't enjoy fast food.
There's a certain place where we run when we're driving home that has a Subway, and I'll get flatbread, steak, bacon and cheese, or whatever it is. I don't know, egg, steak, and cheese, and then I'll load it with veggies. So I like the flatbread a lot better than the big buns. So I don't like big buns, Robert. Not a fan of the big buns.
Okay, there we go.
All right. That's my fast food. So I really can't think of anything. The Cincinnati area has Skyline chili, which I think is the most disgusting looking thing on planet Earth.
Is that like a Frito pie or something?
Nah, it's like I don't know, beans over with topped with tons of cheddar. It just looks disgusting. It's really. Drink more water on a cut. Yeah, that doesn't hurt. Like I was thinking, just having fruit a couple times a day really helps. A couple oranges, some grapes, whatever. I find that eating a little bit of fruit each day really helps for hunger. Favorite type of whiskey, Robert? Mine was a Whistle Pig 12 year, but that's finished, so I'm moving on.
There's a lot. I mean, like you've got your special occasion whiskeys, you've got your daily drinker. I mean, so if we're gonna go of all the whiskeys, so you've got Scotch whiskey, you've got Irish whiskey, you have American whiskey, and then you have bourbon, and you have rye. Bourbon is my favorite, so I'm gonna go with bourbon all day, every day. Within that, I've got a bunch of different ones that's kind of just going like if we're going like my favorite daily sipper, if we're gonna go like in that category, something that is a really good quality but it's not gonna break the bank. Knob Creek 9-year is my favorite. Favorite local one is Iron Wolf Distillery, which is the place we go every Saturday. That's a 90 proof. Some other really good ones. Early Times Bottled and Bond is really good. Elijah Craig, that's good. Evan Williams White Label, not the black label, but Evan Williams White Label Bottled and Bond, that's 100 proof. What's another good one? Wild Turkey 101 is great. What else? Old Granddad 114 is another good one. But if I had to pick one and only one, it's going to be Knob Creek. They're 100 proof. I haven't tried their barrel picks yet. I would be very curious to try that. Or one day I might just need to take everybody on my my bourbon collection through everything.
I think so. Let's go through the booze cabinet. I'm starting to get into scotches more and more, and as I get into them, I find them more. They're like whiskeys can have a wider range of flavors. Like some of them just taste like ass, and some of them are really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm finding with Scotch that I haven't really run into one I don't really enjoy drinking, and some folks will say this is too peaty or this is too that. But I find generally when I just pick something random, I don't have an issue drinking it. So, pork meat. Were you guys in the video games? Yeah, man. I started with the old Atari back in the 70s, 80s.
Steve invented Pong. That's how old he is.
Pong. But in modern times, God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, Skyrim, I played a little bit. MMORPGs, I played Asheron's Call for about 7 years. That was like crack cocaine.
Did you do EverQuest? That was one of the first MMORPGs.
Gets me motion. I can't play a lot of games because I get motion sickness. Right now, I play Rocket League a lot. I love that game. Fun. And I play MLB The Show 21. Just a great game and very realistic and probably the only baseball game I've ever cared to play. How about you, Robert?
Yeah, I grew up with regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation. Had a PlayStation 2 when I started LSU. Shameless plug again. We're going to get somebody that goes on our feed. Like I'm sure we've got younger guys. There's probably some teenagers that watch this. If you want a good school, LSU. There we go. Anyway, that's kind of where I tapped out for video games for a while was PlayStation 2. And I've kind of got back into some retro gaming the past couple of years just because I enjoy it. Favorite games, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo. Greg Duvier knows what I'm talking about. He understands my passion for that game and how amazing it is. All the Final Fantasies, so Final Fantasy 2, which is really Final Fantasy 4 on Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy 3, which is really Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation, Chrono Trigger, those are awesome. NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, Metal Gear Solid was fantastic. What are you showing me? What is this?
I'm just
That's Wisconsin. Okay.
I'm waiting patiently, Robert. I'm waiting patiently.
Hey, you know what's not fair about this? I can't do a share screen because I could share it, but then you have to allow access to it. So,
all right. So, Robert is an LSU guy, but
there's a reason for this. So, part of the reason, I'll let you. I'll have you can have your moment.
Let's see that score. What's the score? 44-0. 20, the other shitball team 3. Okay, wait for it. We're almost there. Hold on, kids. If you want a real school, we know how to party in Wisconsin as well. Like we know how to drink. We're the number. We're first in drinking. I think every doctor. Fuck all y'all. That's how you fucking party.
I will pull up a video. So part of my love for LSU. So I grew up not actually liking LSU. So my dad and my grandpa both went to Tulane and UNO. LSU was considered the party school. It was where you went to go binge drink as a freshman and die. I mean, that was happening when I was a freshman there. And then, I got in a band in high school, section leader in band in high school for the trumpet section. Had friends that went up to LSU and they said, dude, you've got to see it. And I had a friend that was ahead of me, a year ahead of me, that was also going into engineering. He was considering going to Georgia Tech. So was I. And he said, look, the degree's not that really going to matter that much. It's what you do with it. LSU is going to pay you to go there, or do you want to be in debt $30,000 when you graduate from Georgia Tech? Because him and I both got partial scholarships to there. But it wasn't worth it. And so we joined LSU's marching band. Go there on a game day, see the band march down the hill, do pregame. I was fortunate enough my last 2 years to be the section leader of the trumpet section. So I was in charge of 70 plus trumpets in a 325 member marching band. And so if you ever go look at LSU's pregame, the front line that leads everything out, that's your boy right here doing that in 07 and 06 and 07.
So Robert, do they have anything similar at LSU when everybody's jumping around going crazy during a game?
Yeah, there's the pregame show where we form LSU and do all that. People go absolutely batshit crazy. Like the first time doing it as a freshman, there was no prep for this. Like you memorize the marching drills and you do all this. you step out on the field for pregame and you're stepping out and there's just a big old bass drum going boom, boom, boom. There's 100,000 people that stand up and just start losing their shit, and you are a freshman. You're about to piss your pants because you have no clue what the fuck is going on. I mean, it's an awesome feeling, and like you get a little bit more acclimated. But man, just thinking about it now, I get chills just thinking about like the reception. So if you guys, another thing we did. So here's the thing about LSU section: you come up with all these different like little cheers and down cheers and songs. The LSU student section comes up with the most vulgar things. Like, so we played the song called "Neck." And then in the middle of it, they say "suck a tiger dick" or something. You know, I mean, just they will come up with the most ludicrous things to shout to the opposing fans, or you know. And so half of these songs end up getting banned after a few years. But go look up a LSU marching band pregame or LSU marching band neck. Yeah, you'll see LSU can hold its own.
So the reason why I ask you that question is because when you're in the middle of what we just saw, and you've never experienced it before, you feel the whole stadium moving. Like,
yeah, that's what makes college football so great. That's what makes it.
You're
so
literally
great.
both like, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever felt, and this is the most exhilarating. Let's just go with it. We're all gonna die. Let's just start jumping. So,
See if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it.
Lindsay, I just meant if you ate only 3x without snacks each meal, would you be about 1,000 calories compared to, say, that's not binge eating, Lindsay. Binge eating's a disorder that drives unusual eating habits. Structuring your eating around personal preference, that's just okay. I don't find that I want 6,000 calories at every meal. And there are some people that do meal plans in the bodybuilding industry that'll have you eat the same number of calories every meal. Oh, Robert's got some shit he's going to share. I'm going to go take a dump or something. But yeah, I mean, that neither of those are a binge eating. They're just a structured eating plan. All right, Robert.
All right. It's only 40 seconds, and you don't have to see some little cartoon imp running across the screen either.
A cartoon, man. Shut up.
All right, let me know when I'm good to play.
Go ahead. Can you add it?
Yep.
We're getting a little lag. Got no sound. There we go. I got no sound.
Wait for it. Here's where they scream it.
We don't have any sound.
There you go.
We can't hear it, Robert. We don't hear it on our end. No sound at all.
You didn't hear any of it?
No, it must be something with your mic. When you play something and listen to it off an internet source, you can't hear it on your mic.
Let's try it this way, maybe. Damn, that's disappointing. Okay.
Careful of the feedback.
Yeah, I unplug my my headphones. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's a mic thing.
Now
we're in a spiral of doom.
Get back here.
Okay, we can hear it. All right, I think we heard it. All right.
There we go.
Yeah, it's still not as good as Wisconsin, though, I'm telling you. It might have been, that's like amateur level fun. So, Robert, Lindsay is clarifying this binge eating thing. And, like, Lindsay, you're a longtime viewer, and I appreciate your support, but not really sure why, 3 meals a day would be binge eating. Binge eating is not a calorie count. Binge eating is a disorder, A binge eater doesn't really eat three times a day at 1,000 calories. A binge eater will rip off like 5,000 calories at night for no reason, just because they want food pleasure or they're facing depression. Anything to add to that, Robert?
Yeah, or like another indicator of like a disordered eating pattern would be something like, let's say you can have 3,000 calories a day and you starve yourself basically the entire day. So you have 200 calories for breakfast, 300 calories for lunch, and then you try to cram everything into dinner, and you're you're trying to gorge yourself to the point where you're nauseous, you're having pizza, you're having ice cream, you're doing all this other kind of shit. If you're doing things like that, specifically doing it to an unhealthy state, that's where you start to get in trouble with the binge eating, where you're trying to condense all of your stuff and you're purposely depriving yourself of food so that you can gorge yourself later. That's where you get into the binge eating and disordered eating.
When there was a perfect storm that occurred to me when I was trying to train for my 2,000-pound total. It was a combination of massive depression from my marriage, along with binge eating and rapid weight gain and strength gain. And my total approached 1,900 easily, maybe 1,950 in a perfect world, maybe 2,000 in a perfect world. I don't know. But I would only eat like 3 or 4 protein shakes during the day. Then I would crush dinner, just crush it. And then come 8 o'clock, I'd eat a bag of tortilla chips with nacho cheese or salsa. 11 o'clock, I'd eat a big thing of ice cream, just a huge thing of ice cream. And at like midnight or 1, I'd have like 4 packs of ramen with a whole pack of shredded cheese in it. I would literally crush 8,000 calories. And it was just depression driven. It was just, and part of it, when I grew up, there wasn't this stuff around. And having it around, I had this incapability of not finishing it all because it was rare when I was a kid. That when we did get it all. So that played some weird role in this. Loving Massive Creatine Plus. Thank you. Come get yours today so we can get this pre-workout on. Flavoring it with Primeval Labs EAA, which is also D-ribose. So total grams of 15 D-ribose. Oops, did my math wrong. 10 grams.
Yeah, I know the guys over at Primeval pretty well. I've never understood the inclusion of the 500 milligrams of D-ribose in the amino supplement. It's just it's too low of a dose to really do anything. But the flavoring is great. I mean, I have a couple of tubs of EAA Max here. Flavoring on it's great. I think that's kind of one of those things that it looks better on the label and it's not probably doing a whole lot of benefit.
Dave Argentino, Fight Club. Yeah, it's a good one. That's a classic. And Bloodsport, Terminator 2, Rocky 2, and Big Trouble. I haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China in forever.
No, me neither.
What do we got here? Combat Ace, never doing isolation exercises. How far will you get? You can't do only compound movements. When you say this, indication is you're doing a lot of barbell movements. Barbell focus movements. Perhaps you're doing barbell and dumbbell. But the question isn't how far you'll go, it's why. Restrictive training really serves no benefit. It only provides roadblocks or things to stumbling blocks. And over time, as you get strong, it'll beat the living shit out of your body. You have to be able to evolve and adapt. So when I was training for my 1,900, 2,000-pound total, I was doing frequency training, and I dropped all direct arm work. My arms lost size, but more importantly, my eccentrics on my bench started to slow, and I started to pick up strains and pains in the shoulders and biceps and all kinds of things. So I'm not a fan of just, I'm not sure. Like if you have a barbell and you have dumbbells, then you can do isolation exercises. But how far will you get? I could get to the moon without doing isolation exercises, but that doesn't mean it's the best in the long term for everybody. Exercise selection is highly specific, and if you're looking at muscle building, dumbbells have a lot of value. So do machines, and so do isolation exercises once all the hard work's done. Anything to add, Robert?
No, we've kind of harped on this always. Like going for the ultra minimalist approach isn't the most efficient or effective way to maximize muscle building potential. It's not an either or thing, like compounds versus isolation. If you are somebody that is super strapped for time and you've only got 30 minutes to train, and you can only train 30 days a week, like 3 days a week, then yeah, in that case, you're just going to have to go at your compounds because you really are that strapped for time availability in order to be able to train. So you want to maximize your bang for your buck. For the average individual, the best results are going to come from a combination of compound and isolation exercises.
What we are learning more and more as the science unfolds and we look at meta-analyses is that a wide variety of exercises and a wide variety of angles and approaches are probably best for hypertrophy. So with that in mind, restriction is not the brightest idea. And, as far as compound movements, there's some good indication that dumbbells are as good, if not better, than barbells. So, Beef Lewis, did you remember Up All Night on USA with Rhonda Shear? No idea what that is.
Yeah. It was where they would just show movies. Like they had a host, almost like Elvira, Mistress of the Dark kind of thing.
I got you. No, I never watched that. That might have been during my military years or something.
It was, let me see, 89 to 98 was when it was. And hey, wait, Greg Doucette was a host on it. I'm sorry, Gilbert Gottfried. That's what it was. My bad.
Close enough. Anything to substitute close grip bench press to start an arm day? Yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of things. You have like the JM press. If you got plenty of compound barbell pressing movements in the mix already, you can do like skull destroyers, which I use, or it's a combination of skull crushers and close grip bench, but they're on an easy bar, so they're not heavy. You're just trying to get volume and beat the living crap out of your body. Single arm dumbbell, skull crushers, cable tricep extensions, all kinds of stuff. If you do an arm day, it's more about cumulative fatigue and a wise exercise selection than to necessarily fit in like close grips. I don't do a lot of arm days for clients, but the rare client that has an arm day, I usually start it with a close grip bench, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, I'd say dips. I mean, if you're looking for a compound to something in the same kind of, family of compound exercises to hit the triceps with at the beginning, dips, and you can weight them up eventually. Just make sure you do enough warm-up sets, or maybe some warm-ups with some push downs or something to make sure you get the joint nice and lubricated and stable and supple.
Supple and lubrication. One thing I like is the assisted dip machine, like the press down machine at commercial gyms. Mm-hmm. I find I can get a really good pump and really good feel and challenge with that. So if you have that, check it out. Any value in stopping more than 2 reps shy of failure? It depends on the context of the workout. Really. I mean, you can do cumulative volume where, let's say I was going to do 5 by 8 on bench. I could do 8, 8, 8, 8, and then max reps. And then the first 2 sets might be more than two reps shy. Don't overthink this stuff, really. It depends on the context of the workout and the whole structure. And it's hard to say apart from that. But, if you're doing like a cumulative amount of volume, like, somebody wants, like for me, I go back and do 5 by 10 on bench press right now because I'm trying to stay lighter weight and I'm an old fuck, right? So I don't really care what my reps in reserve are. A lot of this is just overthinking. Good progression plan and following it every week, you're going to be fine because those sets are going to continue to get harder every week.
Yep.
Ninja Assassin is a great movie. I don't know about that. I've never heard of it.
I haven't seen it. I looked it up when I saw Rico's comment. It's in 2009 movie. I'd have to go back and see if I can pull it up and find it.
All right, we'll check it out. Do hip thrusts count towards hamstring volume? No. Not really. I mean, I see so many people doing hip thrusts, and like I see a lot of people doing them for the wrong reasons. So and the main thing I have with hip thrusts is like I would probably need to put, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I don't want to load another barbell, to work hips. I find other exercises if I need to work my hips. but I find I get enough hip work just during my leg exercise in general. But I've never found that hip work works hamstrings. Do you, Robert?
It's primarily glutes. I mean, you're going to get some supporting and like stabilization and isometric contraction from the hamstrings, but the prime mover on the hip thrust is going to be the glutes. It's just going to be some secondary work or ancillary work for the hamstrings. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a hamstring intensive movement, like something that's going to hammer it on the same order like an RDL or a leg curl would.
And let's see, response to close grip bench question. Close grip bench with an easy bar using a monkey grip. Lee Priest invented or popularized it. That'll be okay if you're not going heavy, but if you go super heavy, that shoulder rotation, having the grip so wide, you're going to place a lot of stress on your shoulders and your wrists. So just be careful of that. When I smash it, I have an energy drink or some chocolate. Don't like fast food a ton. All right, talking about food, fast food. If I'm going to smash it, I usually go for sushi. You really can't go wrong with sushi at all.
Yeah, so good.
And 10th post. I'm not sure if he's posting and we're not seeing it. When I smash it, I'll do Korean or sushi, which sounds lame, but I don't normally eat rice. Doesn't sound lame at all. Like sushi, like I know a lot of people hate sushi. But man, I absolutely love sushi, and it's like it's like a cheat meal for me. Rye whiskey is my choice. We won't judge. Taco Bell for taste, assaulting laxative.
I'm judging a little bit.
If I want something like that, I'm going to make my own tacos at home, or I'm going to make my own nachos at home.
Yeah.
Training for an ultra marathon in September. How to program to maintain muscle and strength. It depends on the length of the ultra. You want to go in maintenance mode. Like for me, how I train is I reduce my training down to 3 days a week. So I would do chest, back, and shoulders. And then at the end of each session, I do one leg exercise. Nothing super heavy, but just to maintain my leg strength. I would never do legs a day before my long run. And, with running training, I found I can eat more, but I really have to be attentive to what the scale is doing. Maintaining muscle mass is super easy as long as you're attentive to your calorie intake. And don't be fooled just because you see thin ultra runners. They didn't start where I did. They didn't start where you did. So just keep that in mind. That might prevent you from being the fastest ultra runner. But next supplement, massive bourbon post workout. Yep, I'm all for that.
Agreed.
Why does Robert still have a shirt on? Because I don't know. It's kind of even though we went 2 hours and 7 minutes, Robert, it was kind of a slower live. We didn't
answer. I would not desecrate the gorgeousness of this shirt by taking it off. I mean, this shirt is just too pretty for me to take off.
Robert, I think the world's getting sick of us, but it comes and goes. The lives ebb and flow with life and weather and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Robert, we are at the end, and if we missed your question, guys, just send us on Instagram. But I want you to pick the question of the day. And the question of the day must email me, and I'm about to post email. So if you don't email me, I'm not going to hunt you down. So you're shit out of luck, kids. You're shit out of luck. But Robert has to pick the question of the day. And if you're picked, you email me, and I will send you a shirt anywhere in the world. Got to make sure you tell me your shirt size. And I need an email address and maybe a phone number for confirmation so you can get tracking. Because occasionally when I ship something, it doesn't get to where it needs to go.
It's a question or a comment?
Whatever tickled your ovaries the most.
I'm going to give it to Bilal. What's your favorite type of whiskey? Here we go. We're going to go with that. We'll go with that.
Bilal's an insider, so he won't be hard to find. And Bilal, just email me, benthebarman@gmail.com, and you won the magic prize. All right, Robert, thanks for hanging in there. What are you doing this weekend other than getting slobber knockered?
You're going to make everybody think I'm this raging alcoholic on the weekend. tomorrow, like it's raining. So yesterday it rained. Wednesday night there were thunderstorms. We've got rain all day today. We've got rain all day tomorrow. So Iron Wolf probably isn't happening tomorrow just because it's all outdoors. There's not really, we could bring a tent and stay out there, but I don't know. Sandy's got a test in one of her grad school classes that she's doing, so she's taking that tomorrow afternoon at 4. So we'll probably just hang around the house tomorrow during the day. I've got pull workout. I did push today. Pull workout is tomorrow. Sunday will be legs, or maybe off. We'll see. I don't know. My legs been giving me some issues lately. My left knee's being wonky again. And then Sunday we're going to go check out probably a new brewery that we've heard a bunch of different things just from random people that we have no affiliation with or don't know them at all. But they've told us about Front Yard Brewing, which is interestingly enough on the way to Iron Wolf. We'll probably do that Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning, more of all the same thing. Sandy has a bridal shower to go to. I've got some work that I need to get done because it's the end of the month, and the end of the month is always kind of a clusterfuck. So.
Yeah, sorry, I had to post the first Facebook question. I checked Facebook, and we had absolutely no interaction on Facebook. Facebook tried to introduce video, but they failed immensely. My wife has 4 sewing lessons tomorrow. She does private sewing lessons.
Cool.
I'm going to be in office from 9 a.m. till basically what we call get me the fuck out of here before I kill someone.
Yep.
So I'm all caught up on a lot of my client stuff. We're going to come up with a program that is basically a 1-month start. You know, what I'm doing now, all the things I'm detoxing from, sugar, flour, fast food, all that kind of stuff, alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put together a coaching service where there's only 1 month. Is this true? Was his video taken down? Is that really true?
Why would it have been taken down?
I talked to him daily, and he didn't mention anything. I don't see it. Are you fucking shitting me? I don't know what's going on. Maybe he'll file a claim against me. So anyway, Robert, we're looking at doing a program where people only have a 1 month commitment, but starting out on your fat loss journey, the goal is 30 days of complete lifestyle change, aggressive. Because the biggest thing I run into right now with coaching for fat loss is we don't dive all in, right?
Yeah.
So I really want to get aggressive and get people thinking about the fat loss, like the lifestyle change right out of the gate strong. Mm-hmm. This is what it's going to take. No Taco Bell, no cookies, no alcohol. Let's just completely change our life for a month. And if after a month you want to stay on coaching, go right ahead. And I will say, before we go, if Schofield's video was taken down, I haven't verified with Jeffrey, and I'll talk to him today, or depending, he's in China, or maybe tomorrow. If a claim was filed against it by Doucette, then expect Doucette to go after my video. So if somebody goes after my video, you know, I'm not going to be happy, because I will literally call in every horse of the apocalypse I have, and I have many. So, but you know, I can't see Jeffrey taking it down. My video about Doucette wasn't really about Doucette. What it was about was anytime we make a video about Doucette or somebody else comes along and says, you're just doing it to get coaching clients. My video was about the fact that I never talk about coaching, and the reason why I don't do so is because right now I'm at full capacity, and if I talked about coaching nonstop, I'd have more inquiries than I could ever handle. Schofield got like 91 DMs on Instagram after that video. So anyway, Robert, appreciate you joining me again. And guys, get over and buy your massive Creatine Plus. Let's sell us out this weekend so we can fuel the fire on the pre-workout. And Robert, let's get the pre-workout rolling. We will get the pre-sale started whenever you talk to them, Robert, see how long they think it'll take them to knock it out, and we'll plan a pre-sale.
Okay. You and I also need to talk. Yeah, I'll talk to you offline about something I want to do with it.
Yeah, this will be a little bit more complicated because of flavoring, but we'll discuss that. And all right, Robert, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.